Hey everyone, and welcome back into the channel for a brand new tutorial and a very highly requested one, which is how to shade. So this tutorial is intended to be for beginners, people who just don't know anything about light theory, about form, about shapes, about shadows. I'm going to take you through step by step so that you can learn how to shade all your forms, as well as take a not so complicated, a bit more of a simple character and break it down into shapes so that you know where exactly to apply your shadows so that you can draw something like this. Of course, before we get started in the tutorial, if you do want the full length version, which is a draw along style, as well as many more tutorials and behind the scenes, you can check over on my Patreon. That's where I post a lot of more in-depth versions of these tutorials that you find here on YouTube. Thank you so much to our Patreon members for all the support. But with that being said, let's jump in. All right, so one of the most important things that you need to learn when it comes to shading is form. Now, what exactly is form? Form is the depth, width, and height of an object, essentially a 2D object in 3D space. And one of my favorite examples of that is taking a circle and turning it into a sphere, because actually, unless we shade it, it'll always just look like a circle. So for example, here on the canvas, I have a circle that I sketched out, and then I took that exact same circle and without any line work and only using shading, I have turned it into a completely 3D object. And that is what form is. It's taking something 2D and making it 3D. So what kind of forms can we find out in the wild? Well, we've got spheres, which is one that we just did an example of. We've got cubes, which consist of squares. We've got pyramids, which consist of triangles. We've got cones, which consist of triangles, as well as circles, and they have a more like spherical shape to them. We've got cylinders. We've got all sorts of other forms that we can use to our arsenal so that we understand how to break down complicated shapes or characters or animals or trees or anything that we see and break them down into these simple shapes. Okay, so now that we understand what exactly form is and what shapes are, and we're gonna have to understand the next part of form, which is planes. Now, what are planes? They're considered the flat surfaces of an object that face towards or away from the light. Even spheres can have planes, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. Let's look at the 3D render art over here that I found online, just something easy because it shows really good light value. So when I look at a sphere, actually, you know what? Let's go to cube. Let's go to cube. Cube's easier to explain planes. So when I look at a cube, I see the flat surfaces. So let's do a new layer and let's talk about the different planes that we have here. There's a plane over here. There's a plane over here. And there's a plane over here. And there's others that we can't see, but let's just talk about the ones that we do see in this example. Now, based on these planes, I can actually establish where the light source is. I know that it's coming from the top. Somewhere here. Let's actually do that in yellow. Nice happy yellow. There we go. I know that it's coming from up here. Why do I know that? Because this plane is the lightest one in this cube, in this reference. And I can also see that there is a shadow over here, which means that the light must be coming in this direction. I also know that it's coming in this direction because plane number 3 is darker than plane number 2 because of the way the light is interacting. Now that we know about shapes, forms, and planes, we're going to learn about light theory. The number one thing you need to know is, where is your light source coming from? Before you start any art piece, you should kind of have an idea of where you're going to start illuminating the piece. Of course, you can do your sketching and your concept and whatever without that, but once you get into actual rendering, you do need to finally know where that light source is coming from. So we're going to learn light terminology with this apple, bless this beautiful apple, and we're going to establish our light source, our center light, our highlight, our shadow, our cast shadow, core shadow, terminator, ambient light, as well as our occlusion. I'll break it all down for you guys, don't worry. Okay, so let's establish our light source. The next thing you're going to want to know is the center light. What is center light? Center light is basically the part of the plane, remember planes, that is closest to the light source. So we're going to figure out, based on where the light is coming from and the fact that this is sort of a sphere, a more complicated sphere, and we're going to establish which part of this apple is facing closest to the light. I can actually see it right now, and I will take a little medium brush and we'll just turn down the opacity. You can see that the center light would be about this portion of the apple. Then we have a highlight. which you guys can see right here. And what is a highlight? A highlight is the highest point of the object that is closest to the light source that is going to be the most illuminated. So that would be our highlight. Our next thing that we need to learn is the terminator. What is the terminator? The terminator is the part where the plane curves away from the light source. So our terminator, which I can see, is right over here. Right here. Because if we break this down into planes, we can see this plane is curving towards the light, and this plane is curving away from the light. So this is our terminator. The point at which the object curves away, or the plane that is finally away from the light. So core shadow, I like to explain that as the global shading of the object. So when we break it down into its simple form, right, which in this case would be more of a sphere, it's where the entire plane goes away from the light. So our core shadow on this apple would be, and let me grab like maybe a darker color just so we're not getting confused here. But the core shadow would be this whole area right here. This is the core shadow. So that's the part of the plane that is the most away from the light. All right, so I'm going to turn that off so that we can discuss now what is ambient light / bounce light. So this is the juicy part that really brings your art to life and makes it look super 3D. But remember when I discussed that light sources or light rays move in a straight line, but they bounce off of objects? So if we look over here at the light source that I drew right here, there is obviously a ground that this apple is sitting on. Now this light will bounce off and it will scatter this way and this way, but it will also bounce this way. And here you can see this very beautiful light on the apple. Now let me turn off all the things that I drew. You guys see that right here? That's what we call bounce light. So, and you can see it's kind of like the same red as the background in the table. The reason being is because when light hits an object, it blends with whatever that object is. Kind of like if you guys have ever seen, you know, when you're sitting on the grass and you can almost see like when the sun hits the grass, but then you put your hand really close, you can see a little bit of green. Or when you shine like, you know, those little flowers, those yellow flowers, those buttercup ones, and you can shine them under your chin. And then even though your chin is in shadow against the sun, right? Because who's sitting here with their chins up in the sun, right? Our chins are always in shadow. But when you put this little flower, what happens is the light bounces on that flower and then it mixes with the color of that buttercup flower and it goes to your chin. And that's why you get that little light source. That's what bounce light is. And I'm telling you, this is the #1 thing you guys need to master if you want to have like the juiciest, most beautiful art ever, because bounce light is what makes and breaks an art piece, in my opinion. It turns it from like, I have basic knowledge of shadows to I have deep knowledge of shadows and light. Then we have our cast shadow. What is a cast shadow? A cast shadow is just what the name says. It is a shadow being cast by the form. So in this case, our cast shadow is right here, right? It's being cast by the light source. And the way you can draw your cast shadow is, again, just by drawing these light sources like this around the object. And then you just follow, it's like a mathematical thing. You just follow where it goes. And that's how you know how far to make the shadow, the cast shadow, excuse me. And then the last one we need to learn is ambient occlusion, or the occlusion shadow. Occlusion shadow is where the light can never reach. So as we see over here with our example of where the light sources are going here, they're going here, but it never can bounce this way, right? Like we're not having a light bouncing down here. It doesn't do that. It bounces this and then that's the furthest it'll bounce. This light bounces over here, bounces over here. It can slightly bounce here, but it can never go down in this area. And that's why this area, if we turn everything off, is the darkest region. And actually there's the little, oh my gosh, there's the little light right there. Do you guys see that difference right there? That is that light source here that just went whoop, and it just bounced in, and it actually lines up with our shadow here. And then there's no light that can get through here. This is called the ambient occlusion. All right, you didn't think I was going to leave you there, did you? We are going to apply everything we just learned to this Kirby. Again, yes, I'm using Kirby. The reason being is because I did explain at the beginning of the tutorial that I would show you how to apply these concepts to a simple character, and Kirby is very round, very friend-shaped, and very good for these kinds of tutorials. So this will be available on my Patreon. You can download this coloring page version that you can try and apply all these things yourself. This exact outline will be available to you. But let's go ahead and let's start. So we're going to set this over to a reference, and we are going to color drop our base colors before we establish anything else. Let's just drop our base colors in. So we're going to establish our light source. Let me just change the background color to a dark gray so it's a little bit easier for me to see. So where is our light source coming from? For the Kirby, let's go ahead and do a top-down light source. That's kind of my favorite. I tend to do that all the time. I find it's the most flattering. It's the easiest to sort of figure out. It's something I do all the time. So we're going to have the light source from over here. All right, perfect. So what are the shapes that we see with this Kirby? I see his main body is a sphere, right? So where are the planes? Now that we've established the light source, we would assume that this plane would curve away from the sun over here, right? But we glued this arm on. Let's glue this arm on. So let's erase all of this, right? Because we're going to glue this piece on. It's kind of like you're putting together a sculpture. I like to think of it as sculpting. So we're gluing on this arm. And then now this is a cylinder. So where's the plane? I would say somewhere about here, right? Something like that. And then we're going to add a shadow over here. This will be pretty bright, but then it's going to curve away from the light this way. So now that we've established these shadow shapes, let's go ahead and let's use them as a guideline to paint in our shadows. So we're going to grab the base version of Kirby. We're going to make a brand new layer. We're going to set it to multiply. And for this example, you know what? Let's just use a really soft airbrush because Kirby's quite soft. So let's use a soft airbrush. Here we go. And we're going to follow the form. When we shade, right, we want to follow the form of the object. So now we've got Kirby done. So I'm going to erase this. Oh, scary. I'm going to erase this because remember, we're going to glue this shape on, right? We're going to go back to that shadow color we selected before. And we're going to go in here and we're going to just follow our guidelines that we did already, right? Perfect. And there. So what have we done right now? This is our core shadows done. So that's how I like to start. I like to start with my core shadows. Now we're going to go in and we're going to go do our highlights. So we're going to grab the Kirby, our light source, and we are going to establish where the light is, obviously on the top where his eyes are. So we're going to go on a new layer. We're going to set this to add. And then I'm going to take a bit of a soft yellow because that's what my light source is. So I'm going to use that. Usually when you're highlighting, you're going to want to select the light source color. So if you're sitting in a red room with red lights, your light source would be a red light. If you're sitting in a pink room, it'd be a pink light. If you're in the sunlight, it'll be like a yellowish light. So I'm going to go ahead with a yellow. Now I'm going to do my center light. We're going to turn this down because it can be very bright. So we're going to turn it down. Whole area here would be center light. And then we'll add our highlight. Next, we're going to add our shadows, ambient occlusion and shadows. So like I discussed before, the Kirby is going to be casting a shadow on the shoes. So we're going to grab this like dark color that we used already. And we are going to make this one shoe quite dark. And then we're going to have Kirby's shadow kind of casting on this leg here, right? Because the light's not bouncing off the ground, right? I mean, it is, but not here because the shoes are blocking the light source. So we'd have some, it would be very dark over here. And then we're going to add our bounce light. So with our light source back turned on, I can see that there's some bounce light. So let's say, because I want to make this very obvious, let's say that Kirby is sitting on some grass and we're going to have some green bounce light. So we're going to choose like a greenish color and I'm just going to do it on a normal layer. Sometimes I do find that using add or overlay or any of those layer modes do produce really good results. However, for this one, I'm just going to do a normal layer just because I think it looks a little bit better. And we're just very lightly going to paint on where the bounce shadow is. or the bounce light, sorry. And we're going to paint on very lightly and just blend it in with a blending brush so that it's very subtle. So I took a little bit of time to actually just color in the line work so you can see, because I'm going to turn it off, but obviously there's like a couple gaps in the artwork, but you can see now with 0 line work, you can see this is a Kirby, but obviously we have some weird gaps. So I took some time just to like color in the line work so it looks a little bit closer to the actual object. So you can see how 3D this looks. We could have probably drawn this without any line work at all and just use shapes. However, I did want to include the line work for you guys so that you can use this as a reference on my Patreon and you can download the line work and use the exact same Kirby I did. But you can see it already looks really good. It looks very 3D. We've applied all the basics of forms, planes, and all the different light terminologies. And obviously, once we're done, we just want to add the bottom cast shadow of the Kirby. So we already have our grid sort of set up. So we know that there's going to be the cast shadow under his foot here. Pretty dark. Remember, that's our ambient occlusion over here. So we're going to shade that in really dark. We're going to do the same thing over here by this foot. And then his body will kind of be like casting a shadow within, remember these guidelines that we have here, with the furthest point reaching this way. So I'm just gonna like paint that in really lightly. Okay, so let's break down everything that we see. Yet again, we're gonna go over one more time all our different things that we learned today. So number 1, we learned our shapes and forms. So Kirby's shape is, we're gonna write our little cheat sheet over here. So our shape. And then for our light source, we have established our highlight. We've established our center light. We've established our terminator. We've established our core shadow. We have established our bounce light. So let's call that ambient light again. Sorry. We've established our ambient light. We've established our cast shadows. And we have established as well our ambient occlusion, which is right there. Oh my God, I cannot write. Ambient occlusion. And that's literally all you need to know to shade. I promise you guys, it's actually a lot simpler than people make it seem. All you need to remember is breaking down your references or your drawing into basic shapes, forms, figuring out the planes, whether that specific point that you want to consider shading, does it turn away from the light or does it turn towards the light? And that's how you're going to decide whether it's going to be in light or in shadow. And then remember all of your light theory. Remember to save this video, come back to it often. I find sometimes watching a tutorial more than once, as well as watching it while I'm doing my own art, can be super helpful in kind of reinforcing the entire thing that I learned. So get out there and draw. Again, if you guys do want the line art version of the Kirby that we did today, you're welcome to check out my Patreon. You can download it there. And if you want the full version of this tutorial, you can also check out my Patreon. Your extra support is very much appreciated. But with that being said, get out there, have fun. I hope this helped, and let me know what you guys would like to see next for a tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.